The art restoration studio buzzed with a gentle hum of fluorescent lights. Evelyn Thorne pushed through the glass doors, her face a mask of irritation. The scent of turpentine and old canvas hung in the air. It was a familiar comfort she'd never admit to enjoying.
Another day in paradise.
Evelyn made a dry comment that was barely audible. She shrugged off her coat, revealing hands covered in paint. Her posture clearly said, "Don't talk to me." She walked to her workstation, avoiding eye contact. Evelyn pointedly ignored her colleagues as she settled into work.
Good morning, Evelyn. You're just in time. We've got a new piece that needs your magic touch.
Marcus, the studio owner, approached with a gentle smile. He was holding a small, faded painting. His warmth contrasted with Evelyn's cold exterior.
Let me guess, another priceless family heirloom that's actually worth less than the frame it's in?
Now. Every piece has its own story, its own value. This one's special, I can feel it.
Evelyn rolled her eyes at Marcus. Despite her reaction, she took the painting from him. As her fingers touched the canvas, something unusual happened. A strange tingling sensation crept up her arm.
Fine, I'll see what I can do. But don't expect miracles.
Hours passed as Evelyn worked diligently. Her initial irritation gradually transformed. It gave way to deep, focused concentration. The world around her slowly faded away. Then, something unexpected occurred. The studio vanished. Evelyn found herself standing inside the painting. She was surrounded by a foggy, incomplete landscape. Panic gripped her chest as she spun around. She tried to make sense of her new surroundings.
What the? How is this possible?
A dark, shadowy figure began to take shape in the mist. It seemed to move and change, never quite settling into a fixed form. As the figure approached, Evelyn felt uneasy. A wave of familiar dread washed over her.
You know me, Evelyn. You've carried me with you all these years.
The voice was everywhere and nowhere. It echoed inside Evelyn's head. Images flashed before her eyes. She saw foster homes, packed bags, and tearful goodbyes.
No, I don't want to remember. I don't want to feel this.
Evelyn's voice cracked as her defenses weakened. She faced a fear that seemed to take physical form. Squeezing her eyes shut, Evelyn tried to return to reality. The intensity of her emotions overwhelmed her usual composure. She struggled to regain control of her senses and thoughts. Evelyn gasped as she found herself back in the studio. Her hands gripped the edges of her workstation tightly. She blinked rapidly, her heart pounding in her chest. As her vision cleared, she looked down at the painting. Suddenly, Evelyn froze in place.
Impossible.
The once faded canvas now shimmered with vibrant colors. It appeared crisp and detailed, as if freshly painted. Evelyn stared at her hands in disbelief. She looked back at the artwork, her mind reeling. She struggled to comprehend what had just happened.
Evelyn? Are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Marcus's concerned voice snapped Evelyn back to the present. She quickly composed her facial expression. However, she couldn't completely hide the tremor in her hands.
I'm fine. Just lost in the work, I guess.
Marcus marveled at the restored painting. Evelyn's mind raced with thoughts. She had entered the painting itself. Inside, she confronted a representation of her greatest fear. Somehow, she had restored the artwork in the process. The implications were both staggering and terrifying.
I need some air.
Evelyn rushed out of the studio. She left a confused Marcus behind. The cool city air hit her face. She leaned against the building, attempting to calm her breath. The world Evelyn knew had suddenly shifted. She found herself at a loss for what to do next. The morning light filtered through the dusty blinds of Evelyn's cramped apartment. It illuminated a chaos of art supplies and half-finished canvases. Evelyn sat at her makeshift desk. She stared blankly at her trembling hands.
It didn't happen. It couldn't have happened. I'm losing my mind.
She clenched her fists tightly. Evelyn was willing away a vivid memory. She recalled sinking into vibrant oils and cool acrylics. With a sharp intake of breath, she stirred. Evelyn pushed herself up from the chair.
Work. I need to work. That's all that matters.
Evelyn grabbed her bag and rushed out the door. She almost bumped into her neighbor in the hallway. Quickly saying sorry, she avoided eye contact. Evelyn then hurried towards the studio. Evelyn entered the restoration studio. The familiar smell of turpentine and linseed oil greeted her. She breathed a sigh of relief. The normalcy of her surroundings made her feel grounded. Her moment of calm was brief. Marcus, her boss, approached with a concerned look.
Evelyn, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I'm fine, Marcus. Just didn't sleep well. What's on the agenda for today?
Marcus looked at Evelyn for a moment. His furrowed brow showed fatherly concern. Evelyn didn't meet his eyes. Instead, she busied herself with organizing her workstation.
Well, we have a new client coming in today. They're bringing a valuable piece from the mid-19th century. I'd like you to take the lead on this one.
Perfect. The more challenging, the better. Keeps the mind occupied.
Marcus opened his mouth, about to speak more. He thought better of it and nodded. Marcus then retreated to his office. Evelyn immersed herself in her work. She carefully cleaned a small landscape painting. A polite cough interrupted her concentration. She looked up and noticed someone new. A well-dressed man in his 40s stood there. He was holding a carefully wrapped package. Marcus stood beside the man, making introductions.
Evelyn, this is Mr. Reeves. He's brought us that piece I mentioned earlier.
Mr. Reeves, pleasure to meet you. Shall we take a look at what you've brought us?
Mr. Reeves carefully unwrapped the painting. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. The canvas revealed an eerily beautiful forest scene. It was marred by a large tear and years of neglect. For a moment, she could swear the leaves rustled. It seemed as if they moved in an imaginary wind.
It's been in my family for generations. I'm hoping you can restore it to its former glory.
Yes, of course. We'll do our best.
Evelyn's fingers yearned to touch the canvas. She longed to sink into its depths and bring it back to life. Clenching her fists, Evelyn forced herself to stay professional. The urge to interact with the artwork was strong, but she maintained her composure.
Evelyn is our most talented restorer. Your painting couldn't be in better hands, Mr. Reeves.
Right, I'll get started on the paperwork. I'm preparing a condition report and treatment proposal. We'll be in touch soon with all the details.
Marcus led Mr. Reeves away from the scene. Evelyn found herself alone with the painting. She stared at it intently. A mix of fear and longing stirred in her gut. The emotions twisted inside her as she confronted the artwork in solitude.
Get it together, Evelyn. It's just a painting. Just paint and canvas.
That night, Evelyn tossed and turned in her bed. Colorful swirls and soft tree whispers invaded her dreams. She found herself standing in the forest from the painting. The air was thick with the scent of pine and damp earth.
No, this isn't real. Wake up, Evelyn! Wake up!
The trees loomed closer around her. Branches reached out like grasping hands. Evelyn stumbled backward. Her heart pounded in her chest. The forest seemed alive and threatening.
Let me out. I don't want to be here.
Evelyn woke up with a gasp. She sat up quickly in bed, her chest heaving. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness. She looked down at her hands. Evelyn let out a choked sob.
No, it can't be.
Her palms and fingers were smeared with vibrant greens and earthy browns. These were the colors of the forest she had just escaped in her dreams. Evelyn stared at her hands covered in paint. Her mind was reeling as reality and impossibility blurred together. The grand halls of the Metropolitan Museum of Art echoed softly. Visitors' footsteps and hushed conversations filled the air. Evelyn Thorne stood before a damaged 19th century landscape. Her trained eyes assessed every crack and discoloration. As she jotted down notes, a voice behind her spoke. The sudden sound broke Evelyn's concentration.
Excuse me, are you Evelyn Thorne?
That depends on who's asking.
Evelyn turned to face a woman. The woman had bright red hair and a warm, inviting smile. She extended her hand towards Evelyn. The woman remained undeterred by Evelyn's cautious reaction.
I'm Lila Summers, curator here at the Met. I've heard wonderful things about your restoration work.
All lies, I assure you.
Evelyn's dry wit made Lila chuckle. Lila seemed determined to break through. She wanted to soften the restorer's tough exterior. Lila saw past Evelyn's guarded personality and was eager to connect with her.
I have a challenging project that I think would be perfect for someone with your unique talents.
Unique? That's a polite way of saying difficult to work with, isn't it?
Not at all. I mean truly exceptional. Would you like to see the painting?
Evelyn hesitated for a moment. Her curiosity was sparked, despite her better judgment. She nodded in agreement. Evelyn followed Lila through the museum. They headed to a secluded corner of the conservation wing.
Here it is. A recently discovered work has been found. It's believed to be by a lesser-known artist from the same era as Van Gogh. The artwork is in dire need of restoration. However, the subject matter is quite intriguing. Take a look and see for yourself.
Lila unveiled the painting. Evelyn felt her breath catch in her throat. The canvas showed a lone figure at the edge of a stormy sea. Swirling brushstrokes surrounded the figure, The strokes seemed to pulse with life. Despite the damage, the piece's raw emotion was clear.
It's remarkable. But why me? Surely the museum has its own restoration team.
We do have someone. However, this piece requires a special touch. We need someone who can truly connect with the artwork. This person must see beyond the surface damage.
Evelyn's eyes narrowed as she reacted. A look of suspicion appeared on her face. She wondered if Lila knew something. Could Lila be aware of her new ability?
And what makes you think I can do that?
Call it intuition. Your reputation precedes you. So, what do you say? Will you take on the challenge?
Evelyn stood silent for a moment. Her gaze was fixed on the painting. The lonely figure in the artwork seemed to call out to her. It echoed her own sense of isolation. Fear and longing battled within her.
I'll need to think about it.
Of course. Take your time, but not too much time. Art waits for no one, after all.
Later that evening, Evelyn sat in her small apartment. A simple sketch of a path with trees lay before her. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached out. Evelyn gently touched the paper with her fingertips. The drawing seemed to come alive under her touch.
This is insane. It can't be real.
Evelyn took a deep breath. She placed her hand on the sketch. The world around her blurred. Suddenly, she found herself standing on a path. It was the very path she had drawn.
Oh God. It's real. It's all real.
Panic seized Evelyn's chest as she realized the full impact of her ability. She stumbled backward, desperate to return to reality. Her apartment appeared around her. Evelyn collapsed onto the floor, her breath coming in ragged gasps.
What's happening to me?
The question hung in the air, unanswered. Evelyn hugged her knees to her chest. She was torn between her new terrifying power and the allure of the damaged painting. The painting waited for her at the museum. Evelyn knew accepting Lila's offer meant more than just confronting the artwork. It would mean facing the deepest parts of herself she had long kept hidden. The art studio hummed with quiet activity. Evelyn stood before Marcus's painting. It was a serene landscape that had seen better days. She took a deep breath. Evelyn prepared herself mentally for what was to come.
All right. Let's see what you're hiding beneath those cracks.
Evelyn's fingers brushed the canvas with a gentle touch. The world around her suddenly blurred. She felt the familiar pull of the painting. Evelyn was transported into the artwork's world, immersing herself in its scene. The once peaceful scene changed dramatically. Dark clouds rolled in, blocking out the sun. Suddenly, the wind grew stronger. It rushed through the trees, scattering leaves everywhere. The tranquil atmosphere had vanished in moments.
Well, this is new. Guess Marcus's work has a temper.
Evelyn took a step forward. Suddenly, a dark shadow began to form in front of her. The shadow twisted and turned, changing its shape. It slowly took on a form that resembled a person, but in a vague, unsettling way.
You don't belong here, Evelyn. You'll never be good enough to fix this.
Oh, great. Just what I needed. A pep talk for my own insecurities.
The shadow grew larger. Its voice boomed across the landscape.
Why even try? You'll only fail like you always do. Give up now.
Sorry, but I didn't come all this way to take advice from a glorified inkblot.
Evelyn stood tall, her posture radiating determination. Her jaw was set firmly. She reached into her pocket. From it, she pulled out a small brush.
Time to show you what real restoration looks like.
Evelyn began to work with quick, assured brush strokes. Each movement of her brush seemed to push back the darkness. Slowly, glimpses of the painting's original beauty were revealed. Her confident technique brought the artwork back to life, stroke by stroke.
You can't erase me, Evelyn. I'll always be here waiting.
Maybe, but I can sure as hell paint over you.
As Evelyn worked, the storm began to subside. Sunlight broke through the clouds. It illuminated the vibrant colors she had restored. With a gasp, Evelyn found herself back in the studio. The brush was still held tightly in her hand. Before her, the painting glowed with renewed life.
Evelyn? Are you all right?
Marcus's concerned voice startled her. She turned quickly. She found Marcus staring at the painting. His expression was full of awe.
I've never seen anything like this. How did you do it?
Oh, just a little elbow grease and determination.
Evelyn's casual tone hid her true feelings. Her hands were trembling nervously. She quickly pocketed the brush. Evelyn avoided Marcus's searching gaze. Despite her outward appearance, her actions revealed her inner turmoil.
This is incredible work, Evelyn. People are going to start talking about this. Your reputation is bound to take off.
Great. Just what I always wanted, to be the talk of the town.
Evelyn's voice was full of sarcasm. Her tone was sharp enough to cut glass. Marcus frowned at her words. He could sense her discomfort.
You should be proud of your talent, Evelyn. Why are you so afraid of recognition?
Recognition often leads to attention. Attention typically creates expectations. Expectations, however, can be tricky. They often result in disappointment. This chain reaction shows how initial recognition can ultimately lead to letdown, highlighting the potential downside of increased visibility or acknowledgement.
A heavy silence fell between them. Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but Evelyn was already turning away. Her emotional walls were firmly back in place.
If we're done here, I've got other pieces waiting. Can't rest on my laurels, right?
Evelyn strode out of the room. Marcus watched her go, his face showing concern. Behind him, the restored painting seemed to glow. It was proof of Evelyn's amazing talent. Yet, she still faced personal struggles she was working to overcome. The faded brick building of the Sunnydale Foster Care Center stood tall in front of Evelyn. It was a stark reminder of her past. She hesitated at the entrance. Her hand trembled slightly as she reached for the door handle. The sight of the building brought back memories, causing Evelyn to pause momentarily before entering.
Just a quick look around. In and out, no need to dwell on ancient history.
Evelyn tried to reassure herself, but it didn't work. As she stepped into the familiar hallway, her confidence faltered. The strong sense of industrial cleaner and cafeteria food filled the air. These smells hit her nostrils forcefully. Suddenly, Evelyn felt transported back in time. The familiar environment and vivid aromas triggered memories from her past.
Evelyn, is that you?
A weathered woman in her 60s emerged from an office. Her eyes widened in recognition.
Mrs. Fletcher, I didn't expect to see you still here.
Some of us old-timers never leave. What brings you back after all these years?
Evelyn shifted uncomfortably in her seat. She had carefully constructed emotional walls around herself. These walls were now threatening to crumble. The cause was Mrs. Fletcher's kind gaze. Evelyn felt her defenses weakening under the gentle look from the older woman.
I'm not entirely sure. Nostalgia, maybe? Or masochism?
Oh, honey, it wasn't all bad, was it? Come, let me show you something.
Mrs. Fletcher led Evelyn to a small room. The room was lined with colorful drawings. In the corner, a familiar piece caught Evelyn's eye. It was a crudely drawn house with stick figures standing outside.
You made this when you were, 8, 9? You always had an eye for art.
Evelyn's fingers brushed against the faded paper. Suddenly, she felt the familiar pull. The world around her blurred. She found herself inside the drawing. The world inside the drawing was a child's vision. It featured oversized flowers and a lopsided sun. In the distance, a small figure huddled beneath a tree.
Hello? Is someone there?
Evelyn approached the figure. Suddenly, she realized something startling. The figure was her younger self. It was a child no more than 9 years old. The child sat with arms wrapped tightly around her knees.
Go away. I don't need anyone.
I know you don't think you do, but maybe we both do.
Evelyn knelt beside her younger self. She felt the weight of emotions bearing down. Years of loneliness and fear had taken their toll. These feelings overwhelmed her as she faced her past.
They always leave. It's better not to care.
Is it? Look at us. Look at me. I've spent so long pushing people away. And for what?
Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. She faced the intense pain of her younger self. Hesitantly, she reached out. Then, she pulled her childhood version into a tight embrace. The emotional journey from hesitation to connection was complete.
We deserve love. We deserve to be happy. It's okay to let people in.
Evelyn held her younger self. The drawing around them began to shift. The colors grew brighter and more vibrant. The lines became clearer and more defined. A lonely figure beneath a tree transformed. It multiplied into a group of smiling faces. This change brought warmth and joy to the once solitary scene. Evelyn gasped suddenly. She found herself back at the foster care center. Mrs. Fletcher looked at her with concern.
Evelyn, are you all right? You went quiet for a moment there.
I think I will be. Thank you, Mrs. Fletcher, for everything.
Evelyn left the center. She felt lighter, as if a burden was lifting. A weight she had carried for long was easing. She pulled out her phone. For a moment, she hesitated before dialing.
Lila, it's Evelyn. I was wondering, Would you like to grab coffee sometime?
As she hung up, a slight smile appeared on Evelyn's face. The journey ahead would be challenging. For the first time in years, she felt ready to face it. She wouldn't be alone, but would have others by her side. The high-end art gallery buzzed with anticipation. New York's elite mingled among exquisite paintings. Evelyn Thorne stood before Lila's commissioned piece. It was a swirling abstract that seemed alive under the lights. Her hands trembled slightly as she prepared to enter the canvas. She knew a challenge awaited her inside.
Just breathe, Evelyn. It's just another restoration. Nothing you haven't done before.
Evelyn took a deep breath. She pressed her palm against the canvas. A familiar pull tugged at her senses. The gallery around her began to fade away. Evelyn stepped into a new world. It was filled with shimmering reflections. Inside the painting, Evelyn found herself surrounded by mirrors. It was like a maze of reflections all around her. Each mirror showed a different side of Evelyn. Some reflections she recognized easily. Others were aspects of herself she'd rather forget. The mirrors created a complex world of self-discovery for Evelyn.
Welcome, Evelyn. This maze holds more than just your reflection. Are you prepared to face what lies within?
I'm here to restore the painting, not play mind games. Where's the damage I need to fix?
The curator's voice echoed around her. It seemed to come from every direction. The sound bounced off all the mirrored surfaces. This created an eerie effect, as if the voice was everywhere at once.
The damage is not always where you expect it to be. Look closer, Evelyn. What do you see?
Evelyn's gaze darted from mirror to mirror. Each reflection revealed a moment from her past. Some showed her vulnerability, while others displayed her fear. She clenched her fists tightly. Evelyn fought the urge to turn away from these haunting images.
I see me, but these aren't real. They're just reflections, distortions.
Are they, or are they the truths you've been hiding from yourself?
Meanwhile, back in the gallery, Marcus arrived. His eyes scanned the room for Evelyn. He spotted her in front of Lila's painting. Evelyn appeared captivated, her hand resting on the canvas.
Evelyn, are you all right?
Marcus's voice echoed faintly. It resonated in the mirrored world. This sudden sound caused Evelyn to startle.
Marcus? I need to focus. I can't talk right now.
Her voice sounded distant, even to her own ears. The mirrors seemed to close in around her. They reflected her growing sense of panic.
The way out is through, Evelyn. Face your reflections. You'll find the restoration you seek. This applies to both the painting and yourself.
Evelyn took a shaky step forward. Her reflection broke into countless pieces of memory and emotion. She delved deeper into the maze. As she progressed, the boundary between the painted world and reality started to fade. The line separating imagination from the real world became increasingly unclear.
I can do this. I have to do this.
Back in the gallery, Marcus watched Evelyn. His concern was growing. Evelyn remained motionless. Her eyes were blank and distant.
Evelyn, please. Come back to us. Whatever you're facing in there, you don't have to do it alone.
His words drifted into the painted world. They were like a lifeline Evelyn feared to grasp. The mirrors flickered, revealing glimpses of the gallery beyond. However, the path back seemed increasingly distant and unclear.
I don't know if I can find my way back this time.
Evelyn struggled within the painting. The gallery guests remained oblivious to the conflict occurring beyond the canvas. The whispers of Evelyn's fears and insecurities grew louder. These whispers threatened to overpower the faint calls from those who cared for her in the real world. Despite the battle in the artwork, Evelyn's connection to reality was fading. The morning sun filtered through the dusty windows of the art restoration studio. It cast a warm glow on the room filled with canvases. Evelyn stood before her latest masterpiece. Her brow was furrowed in concentration as she applied the final touches. The previously damaged painting now gleamed with renewed life. It was a testament to Evelyn's newly developed restoration skills.
Evelyn, I've got to hand it to you. Your work lately has been, well, nothing short of miraculous.
It's just work, Marcus. Nothing special.
Evelyn's tone was dismissive. However, her eyes darted nervously to the side. She avoided Marcus's gaze. Evelyn knew her latest work surpassed her earlier skills. The attention was making her uncomfortable. Her new projects had exceeded her past abilities, drawing unwanted notice.
Come on now, don't sell yourself short. Your reputation is spreading, you know. I've had 3 calls this week from collectors. They're asking specifically for you.
Great. More pressure. Just what I needed.
Evelyn's sarcasm was thick. It masked the anxiety hidden underneath. She set down her brush. Then, she stepped back from the painting. Her arms were crossed defensively. This posture revealed her true feelings. Despite her outward confidence, Evelyn was clearly uneasy about her work.
I thought you'd be excited. This could be a real turning point for your career, for the studio.
And what if I can't deliver? What if it's just a fluke?
The fear in Evelyn's voice was palpable. It betrayed her usually tough exterior. Marcus's expression softened as he approached her.
Evelyn, I've known you for years. This isn't a coincidence or accident. You've always been talented. But now, it's as if you've discovered something extraordinary. Your abilities seem to have reached a new level, almost like you've tapped into something magical.
Magic? Right. Next you'll be saying, I can walk into paintings.
Evelyn's attempt at humor failed. She realized Marcus had accidentally revealed the truth. Feeling uncomfortable, Evelyn turned away. She pretended to organize her supplies to hide her discomfort.
Listen, why don't you take a break? There's a new coffee shop nearby. It just opened recently. Maybe some fresh air will do you good.
I don't need a break. I need...
Evelyn's protest was interrupted. The studio's front door chimed. Lila walked in. Her presence instantly brightened the room.
Hey there, I thought I might find you here. Ready for that coffee date?
Evelyn froze in surprise. Lila's unexpected appearance startled her. The use of the word date caught Evelyn off guard. Her eyes darted between Lila and Marcus, taking in their reactions. Lila offered a warm smile. Marcus gave an encouraging nod. Evelyn felt conflicted as she processed this unexpected situation.
I'm kind of in the middle of something.
Nonsense. The painting can wait. Go on, Evelyn. Live a little.
Marcus gently pushed Evelyn forward. She found herself walking towards Lila. Evelyn's heart raced with mixed excitement and fear. As they left the studio, Evelyn took one last look. She gazed at the restored painting. It symbolized her hidden world. The painting represented changes coming to her life. The coffee shop was very different from the quiet studio. It was filled with the buzz of conversation. The rich aroma of coffee hung in the air. Evelyn and Lila found a small table in the corner.
I've been hearing amazing things about your recent work. You must be thrilled.
Thrilled isn't exactly the word I'd use. More like overwhelmed.
Evelyn's fingers nervously traced the rim of her coffee cup. Her eyes avoided Lila's inquisitive gaze. This subtle body language revealed Evelyn's discomfort in the situation.
Hey, it's okay to be proud of your achievements. You've worked hard for this.
Have I? Sometimes I feel like I'm cheating somehow.
The words slipped out before Evelyn could stop them. She bit her lip in regret. It was a moment of unexpected vulnerability.
Cheating? Evelyn, that's ridiculous. Your talent is real. I've seen it firsthand.
Lila reached across the table. Her hand lingered close to Evelyn's hand briefly. Then, Lila gently touched Evelyn's hand. Evelyn flinched slightly but didn't pull away.
You know, it's okay to let people in sometimes. To have friends who support you.
I'm not good at that. The whole friendship thing.
Well, lucky for you, I'm an excellent friend. And I'm not easily scared off.
Lila's words and warm smile affected Evelyn deeply. They sent a mix of comfort and panic through her. Evelyn felt a strong urge to flee. Yet, this urge competed with a new desire to stay. She wanted to explore this budding connection.
I should get that. It might be Marcus.
Evelyn reached quickly for her phone. She felt both relieved and disappointed by the interruption. As she answered the call, her face paled.
Marcus? Slow down. What do you mean you're... Oh, God. I'll be right there.
Evelyn, what's wrong?
I have to go. There's been an accident at the studio.
Evelyn bolted from the coffee shop without explanation. She left a confused Lila behind. Evelyn's mind raced with panic. Somehow, impossibly, Marcus had been pulled into a painting. Now, Evelyn faced a daunting task. She had to rescue him while protecting her secret. Evelyn also needed to confront her increasing ability to connect with others. Evelyn stood before the massive, colorful painting. Her heart pounded in her chest as she gazed at it. The chaotic swirls of color seemed alive. They pulsed with a life of their own. The artwork beckoned her to step into its world. She took a deep breath to steady herself. Evelyn was preparing for the emotional journey the painting promised.
This one's different. I can feel it already.
Evelyn gave a determined nod. She pressed her palm against the canvas. The world around her began to change. It dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors. Vibrant hues and jagged shapes appeared everywhere.
What in the...
Evelyn found herself suspended in a whirlwind of visible emotions. Anger appeared as red streaks across her vision. Tendrils of blue sadness threatened to surround her. Everywhere she looked, the abstract landscape shifted and changed. It reflected the artist's chaotic inner world. The scene also mirrored Evelyn's own conflicted feelings. In this vivid display, she saw both the creator's turmoil and her own emotional state brought to life.
Welcome, Evelyn. This canvas holds more than just paint, doesn't it?
The curator's voice echoed mysteriously. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Evelyn spun in place, disoriented by the sound. She searched frantically for the voice's source.
Where are you? And what is this place?
This is the heart of abstraction. It is pure emotion given form. To restore this piece, you must confront something. You need to face what you've been running from. The artwork captures raw feelings, transformed into a tangible creation. By engaging with it, you'll address the issues you've been avoiding.
Suddenly, the swirling colors formed into vague, shadowy figures. Evelyn's breath caught as she recognized the silhouettes. These were people from her past. She saw foster parents, friends, and even hints of her birth parents. All of them were reaching out to her.
No, I can't. I don't want to.
Evelyn tried to back away from the approaching figures. The mysterious beings pressed closer, reaching towards her. Panic rose in Evelyn's throat as she felt trapped. Suddenly, vibrant colors began to surround and engulf her. The scene was both mesmerizing and terrifying as Evelyn found herself overwhelmed by the strange encounter.
Evelyn? Evelyn, can you hear me?
Marcus's voice cut through the chaos. It was a lifeline from the outside world. Evelyn clung to it desperately. She was struggling to focus.
Marcus? I'm losing myself in here.
You're stronger than this, Evelyn. Remember why you do this. Your purpose is to heal and restore. You can do the same for yourself. This challenge isn't beyond your strength. Focus on your ability to bring healing and restoration. Now apply that same power to your own situation.
His words echoed across the unusual scene. The resonance caused the colors to stabilize. Evelyn took a shaky breath. She forced herself to face the shadowy figures.
I've spent so long pushing everyone away, but I don't want to be alone anymore.
As she spoke the words aloud, the figures began to change. Their reaching hands no longer seemed grasping, but inviting. The colors softened, blending into a harmonious whole.
Vulnerability isn't weakness, Evelyn. It's the key to true connection, in art and in life.
Evelyn's hands trembled as she reached out. She touched the nearest figure in the painting. As her fingers made contact, she felt a surge of warmth. The warmth flowed through her and into the artwork. Cracks and faded areas began to heal. The entire canvas regained its vibrant colors.
I understand now.
The abstract world around Evelyn began to fade. Reality was seeping back in. She found herself standing before the canvas in the studio. Evelyn gasped at the transformation before her. The painting glowed with new richness and feeling. It took her breath away.
Evelyn? Are you all right?
She turned and found Marcus watching her. His eyes were filled with concern. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt different. The walls around her heart began to crumble. This unexpected moment marked a significant change in Evelyn's emotional state, as Marcus's genuine concern started to break through her long-held defenses.
I think I'm finally starting to be.
Evelyn smiled tentatively at Marcus. She realized the restoration work she had completed was significant. It went far beyond the canvas in front of her. This project had become more than just art restoration. Evelyn recognized that she had taken an important first step. She was now on a path towards restoring herself. The morning sun shone through the window shades of Evelyn's messy apartment. Long shadows stretched across her unmade bed. Evelyn sat on the edge, her hands shaking slightly. She stared at her phone screen intently. Her thumb hovered over Lila's name in the contact list. Evelyn hesitated, considering whether to reach out.
Just call her already. It's not like you're agreeing to marry her. It's just a day out.
Evelyn's self-encouragement did little to calm her anxiety. She felt a growing unease in her chest. The intensity of her recent painting restorations had left her exhausted. She was drained both physically and emotionally. The thought of going out seemed overwhelming to Evelyn. Opening up to someone, even for a short time, felt daunting.
Evelyn, is everything okay?
Lila, hey. Yeah. Everything's fine. I was just wondering something. Is that offer to hang out still available?
The words tumbled out of Evelyn's mouth. She spoke before she could doubt herself. There was a brief pause on the other end of the phone. Evelyn felt her heart rate spike.
Of course it is. I'm free today if you want to grab coffee or take a walk in the park.
A walk sounds nice. Less confined than a coffee shop.
Evelyn could hear the smile in Lila's voice. They agreed on a meeting spot. As Evelyn hung up the phone, she felt conflicted. A mix of relief and nervousness washed over her. An hour had passed when Evelyn found herself in the local park. She was walking next to her companion, Lila. Bright green colors of early summer surrounded them. This lively scenery stood in sharp contrast to Evelyn's usual workspace. The park's vivid atmosphere was a refreshing change from her typical environment.
I'm really glad you called, Evelyn. You've seemed distant lately. Is everything all right at the studio?
It's fine. Just intense. Some of the restorations have been challenging.
Evelyn's hands fidgeted with the hem of her shirt. Her eyes darted around the room. She avoided looking at Lila's concerned face.
You know you can talk to me, right? I mean, we haven't known each other for very long, but I'd like to think we're friends.
The word friends hung in the air between them. Evelyn felt a familiar urge to retreat. She wanted to build up her walls. However, something in Lila's genuine tone made her pause. This moment of hesitation opened a possibility for connection, despite Evelyn's initial instinct to withdraw.
Friends, huh? I'm not great at that, but I guess I'm trying.
Lila's eyes softened. She gently touched Evelyn's arm. This caused Evelyn to flinch slightly.
That's all anyone can ask. So, want to tell me about these challenging restorations?
Evelyn took a deep breath. She carefully weighed her next words. The secret of her ability weighed heavily on her. The thought of sharing even a small part of it frightened her deeply.
It's hard to explain. Sometimes when I'm working on a painting, it feels different. It's like I'm not just touching up the visible part. I feel as if I'm inside the painting somehow. I'm dealing with more than just pigment and canvas. The experience goes beyond the physical aspects of art.
Evelyn held her breath. She waited for Lila's reaction. To her surprise, Lila responded. Lila nodded thoughtfully.
I think I understand. Art has a way of drawing you in. It makes you confront unexpected things. Art can be beautiful, yet also overwhelming.
Relief washed over Evelyn. Lila hadn't understood the literal truth. However, she had grasped the essence of Evelyn's struggle. It was a small step. Yet, it felt monumental to Evelyn. This understanding, though partial, brought significant comfort to Evelyn, marking a crucial moment in their communication.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Thanks for listening, Lila. And for this.
Evelyn gestured vaguely at the park around them. Lila smiled warmly, with understanding. Her expression made Evelyn's usual defenses waver.
Anytime, Evelyn. That's what friends are for.
As they continued their walk, Evelyn felt a subtle change inside. The fear of betrayal still lurked in her mind. But alongside it, a tiny spark of hope emerged. Evelyn pondered a new possibility. Perhaps opening up to someone didn't always have to end in pain. Evelyn stood in the dimly lit restoration studio. Before her was a massive canvas, its surface cracked and paint flaking. The once vibrant painting now resembled a shattered mirror. Each fragment held a piece of its former glory. Evelyn took a deep breath, preparing herself for the challenge ahead.
This is going to be a tough one. But then again, when has anything in my life been easy?
Evelyn's fingers hovered over the canvas. She felt the familiar pull of the painting's world. As she closed her eyes, the studio around her began to fade. Evelyn opened her eyes and found herself in a strange place. She was standing in a broken landscape. The sky above was split into jagged sections. Each piece showed a different shade of blue. The ground beneath her feet felt unstable. It seemed like it might crumble at any moment.
Well, this is certainly fitting.
Evelyn took a cautious step forward. A familiar voice rang out. It echoed through the broken world.
Welcome, Evelyn. I see you've chosen quite the challenge this time.
Curator, I should have known you'd be here. Care to tell me why this place looks so strange? It seems to reflect my emotional state made visible.
Perhaps the better question is, why does your emotional state resemble this damaged masterpiece?
Evelyn scoffed at first, but the curator's words struck a chord. She looked around, taking in the broken scenery. Each piece seemed to reflect a different memory. These were different pains she had tried to bury. The landscape revealed fragments of her past. each shard a reminder of what she'd hoped to forget.
So what? I'm supposed to fix this painting by... what? Fixing myself?
The path to restoration is never simple, Evelyn. Remember, every crack and imperfection tells a story. Your task is not to erase them. Instead, you must understand them.
As the curator spoke, the ground beneath Evelyn's feet shifted. She stumbled, losing her balance. A deep fissure had suddenly appeared. Evelyn nearly fell into the newly formed chasm. The sudden change in terrain caught her off guard, threatening her safety.
Whoa! A little warning next time?
The journey of healing is often unpredictable, Evelyn. You must learn to adapt to changing circumstances. It's important to find your balance in life. This balance is crucial even when the world around you shifts. Remember, your ability to adjust and stay centered is key to navigating the unpredictable path of healing.
Evelyn steadied herself with determination. A resolute look crossed her face. She knelt down carefully. Evelyn examined the crack at her feet.
Fine, if that's how we're playing this, let's get to work. Where do I start?
You've already begun, Evelyn. The question is about your readiness. Are you prepared to confront what's hidden? There's something lying beneath these cracks. It's time to face what's concealed within.
The fissure at Evelyn's feet widened. It seemed to respond to the curator's words. The widening revealed glimpses of long-forgotten memories. Foster homes and lonely nights flashed through her mind. A constant fear of abandonment surfaced. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat.
I don't know if I can do this.
Remember, Evelyn, the strength of a restored painting lies in its history. It's not about hiding the past. Instead, it's about embracing it. The same principle applies to you. Your experiences, both good and challenging, have shaped who you are. By accepting your history, you can find your true strength and beauty, just like a carefully restored work of art.
Evelyn closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. When she opened her eyes again, her gaze had changed. There was a new resolve in her expression. The momentary pause had transformed her demeanor, revealing a determination that wasn't there before.
All right. Let's see what we're dealing with here. One crack at a time.
Evelyn began to work on a unique project. She carefully examined each fragment of the broken painting. As she worked, she felt she was piecing together more than just an artwork. With each crack she addressed, a little piece of herself seemed to fall into place. The process of restoration became a journey of self-discovery for Evelyn. The sun was setting as Evelyn arrived at Marcus's house. Long shadows stretched across the quiet street. She hesitated at the door, her hand hovering over the knocker. This was more than just a work visit. It was a step into uncharted territory.
Evelyn, come in, come in. I'm so glad you could make it.
Marcus greeted her with a warm smile as the door opened. His eyes twinkled with excitement. This contrasted sharply with Evelyn's visible nervousness. The meeting of their contrasting emotions created a palpable tension in the air.
Thanks for having me, Marcus. I have to admit, I'm curious about this mysterious gallery of yours.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Follow me, it's just upstairs.
Evelyn and her companion ascended the staircase. Her fingers trailed along the banister, feeling the smooth wood beneath. The walls were adorned with small, beautiful paintings. These artworks offered a glimpse of the wonders that awaited them.
Here we are. Welcome to my little sanctuary.
Marcus threw open a set of double doors. He revealed a spacious room bathed in warm light. The lighting was strategically placed throughout the space. Paintings of various sizes and styles adorned the walls. Each painting seemed to vie for Evelyn's attention.
Marcus, this is incredible. I had no idea you had such a collection.
Evelyn's eyes darted from painting to painting. She absorbed the colors and brush strokes. The emotions captured on canvas were vivid. Suddenly, she felt a familiar pull. The paintings were calling to her.
Evelyn? Are you all right?
I'm not sure. Something's happening.
Before Marcus could respond, Evelyn felt herself being pulled. She was drawn into the nearest painting. It was a swirling landscape, reminiscent of Van Gogh's style. Colors exploded around her in a dazzling display. Evelyn found herself thrust into a new world. This world was filled with vibrant brushstrokes and pulsating with energy.
What's going on, Marcus?
But Marcus was gone. Instead, Evelyn found herself face to face with something unexpected. It was a visual representation of her own insecurity. This self-doubt appeared before her, painted in harsh, angular strokes.
You don't belong here. You don't belong anywhere.
No, that's not true.
Evelyn was interrupted mid-sentence. She was suddenly pulled into another painting. It was a peaceful scene of Monet's water lilies. The abrupt change left her gasping for air. The serene image contrasted sharply with her shock.
You must confront your fears to restore the balance, Evelyn.
The curator? What are you doing here?
The curator's form melted into ripples on the water's surface. Evelyn felt another pull. Suddenly, she found herself in a new environment. It was a stark, minimalist painting. The artwork consisted of sharp lines and empty spaces.
I can't keep doing this. It's too much.
Evelyn experienced a sudden jolt. She found herself back in Marcus's art gallery. Evelyn stumbled backward, caught off balance. Marcus quickly reached out to her. His steady arms caught Evelyn, holding her securely. The warmth of his embrace provided comfort and stability.
Evelyn, what happened? You were flickering, almost like you were fading in and out of existence.
To my surprise, I was in the paintings, Marcus. I was in all of them. The experience was overwhelming. I've never experienced anything like it before.
Evelyn looked up at Marcus. She suddenly became aware of how close they were. His concerned gaze met hers. In that moment of vulnerability, Evelyn acted. She did something she had never allowed herself to do before. The kiss was brief and tender, yet it was also terrifying. As soon as it ended, Evelyn felt panic. The fear quickly seized her heart.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I have to go.
Evelyn, wait!
Evelyn was already fleeing down the stairs. Her heart was beating as fast as she ran. She burst out onto the street. The cool night air hit her suddenly, shocking her system.
What have I done?
Evelyn disappeared into the night. The weight of her actions left her feeling lost. Her confusing encounter with the paintings intensified this feeling. The line between art and reality had blurred. With this blurring, the walls around her heart began to crumble. She felt more adrift than ever before, as her carefully built emotional defenses weakened. Evelyn stood before the damaged masterpiece. Her heart raced as she prepared to enter its world once more. The canvas was a swirling vortex of dark hues and broken shapes. It seemed to pulse with an ominous energy. Evelyn placed her hand on the painting's surface. She felt the familiar pull, but this time was different.
This is it. The final restoration. I can do this. I have to do this.
Evelyn took a deep breath and allowed herself to be drawn into the painting. The world around her dissolved into a chaotic landscape. Broken shapes and distorted shadows surrounded her. As she fully materialized within the artwork, a chill ran down her spine. The exit, usually a faint glimmer at the edge of her sight, had vanished.
No, this can't be happening. Where's the way out?
Panic began to set in as Evelyn spun around. She frantically looked for any sign of escape. The landscape seemed to shift and change with each movement. This disoriented her further. Suddenly, a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. Its form was constantly morphing and blurring.
Welcome, Evelyn. I've been waiting for you.
You, the curator. What's going on? Why can't I leave?
This world is a reflection of your deepest fears, Evelyn. The exit will reveal itself only when you confront your past. You've been running from something for many years. It's time to face what scares you most. Only then will you find your way out of this fearful world.
As the curator spoke, the landscape began to transform. Fragments of memories materialized around them. These were fleeting images from Evelyn's past. They showed foster homes and experiences of rejection. Evelyn could be seen pushing people away.
I don't understand. I've faced my fears in other paintings. Why is this one different?
Evelyn, this is the core of your pain. You believe you are unworthy of love. You need to confront this belief. Until you do, you'll remain trapped. This trap exists not just here, but in your own life.
Evelyn's chest tightened as the truth of the curator's words became clear. The world around her seemed to beat in time with her racing heart. Colors grew more vivid and intense, enhancing the surreal experience.
And if I can't overcome this?
Then you risk losing yourself entirely. The real world will fade away. You'll become a permanent part of this painted reality. This transformation poses a danger to your sense of self. As the familiar world disappears, you may find yourself immersed in an artificial landscape, unable to distinguish between what's real and what's imagined.
The gravity of her situation struck Evelyn hard. It felt like a physical blow. She thought of Marcus and Lila. Evelyn reflected on the life she had been slowly building. Fear of losing everything consumed her. This fear battled against her terror of facing her deepest insecurities. The weight of her predicament and the potential loss of all she held dear left Evelyn feeling overwhelmed and conflicted.
I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how to let go of this fear.
You must try, Evelyn. Look within yourself. Find the courage you need. It's time to face what you've been avoiding. This avoidance has lasted for years.
As the curator's words faded, the landscape shifted once more. Evelyn found herself standing before a reflective surface. Her reflection appeared distorted and fractured in the mirror. In its depths, she could see glimpses of her past, present, and potential future. All of these visions depended on her ability to overcome this challenge. It was the final and most daunting task she had faced.
I have to try. For myself. For the chance at a real life.
Evelyn reached out towards her reflection with trembling hands. She was prepared to confront the deepest, darkest parts of herself. As her fingers touched the surface, the world around her exploded. It burst into a vivid mix of emotions and memories. This experience enveloped her in the battle for her very soul. The art studio was silent in the late afternoon. Long shadows stretched across the floor. Marcus and Lila had been searching for Evelyn. Concern was visible on their faces. They entered the back room of the studio. Their eyes widened in shock at what they saw.
Evelyn! Oh my God, Lila, call an ambulance.
Marcus rushed to Evelyn's side. He found her unconscious body lying beside the masterpiece. She had been restoring the artwork. Lila fumbled for her phone. Her hands trembled as she dialed for help.
Yes, we need an ambulance. The location is Thorn Art Restoration Studio. It's at 237 West 29th Street. Our friend is unconscious and unresponsive.
Lila spoke to the dispatcher. Meanwhile, Marcus gently cradled Evelyn's head. His weathered hands trembled slightly.
Come on, kid. Wake up. What happened to you?
The next few hours passed in a blur. Sirens, bright lights, and hushed talks with doctors filled the time. Evelyn was admitted to the hospital. Her condition was stable, but still a mystery. As night came, Marcus and Lila took turns staying with her. Neither wanted to leave Evelyn alone.
Marcus, you should go home and rest. I'll stay with her tonight.
I can't just leave her, Lila. She's like a daughter to me.
I know, but you won't be any help to her if you're exhausted. We need to be strong for Evelyn now.
Marcus hesitated. His eyes were fixed on Evelyn's pale face. Finally, he nodded. Then, Marcus stood up.
You're right. But call me if there's any change, no matter how small.
I promise.
Marcus left the room. Lila settled into the chair next to Evelyn's bed. She reached out gently. Lila took Evelyn's hand in hers.
I don't know if you can hear me, Evelyn. We're here for you. You're not alone in this situation. Whatever's happening, we'll figure it out together.
Meanwhile, deep within the masterpiece, Evelyn found herself immersed. She was adrift in a sea of swirling brushstrokes. The painting was alive with color and emotion. The curator's voice echoed around her. It was both comforting and challenging.
You've come far, Evelyn Thorne. Your greatest test lies ahead. The way back is through connection. Isolation is not the answer. Your path forward requires reaching out to others, not withdrawing into yourself. Remember, strength often comes from the bonds we forge with those around us.
I don't understand. How can I connect when I'm trapped here?
Listen closely. Can you hear them, the voices calling you home?
As if through a veil, Evelyn began to perceive something. She heard faint echoes of Marcus and Lila's voices. A warmth spread through her body. It felt unfamiliar yet oddly comforting.
I can hear them, but I'm scared. What if I let them in and they leave me too?
That, my dear, is the risk we all must take. The choice is yours. You can remain safe but alone in this painted world. Or you can brave the uncertainty of human connection. Each option has its consequences, but only you can decide which path to follow.
Evelyn closed her eyes. She felt the pull of two worlds. For the first time in years, she considered a change. She thought about the possibility of letting others in. This internal conflict made her pause and reflect on her long-held isolation.
I want to go back. I want to try.
Evelyn made her decision. As she did, a soft glow began to appear around her. She lay motionless in the hospital bed. Lila gasped at the sight. Instinctively, she tightened her grip on Evelyn's hand.
Evelyn, can you hear me? Please, come back to us.
The monitor beside the bed began to beat faster. This signaled a change in the patient's condition. Dawn was breaking over the city. Evelyn's eyelids fluttered open. She took a deep, unsteady breath.
Lila? Where am I?
Oh, thank God. You're in the hospital, Evelyn. You gave us quite a scare. I'm so glad you're back.
Evelyn's eyes focused on Lila's face, stained with tears. She felt a mix of fear and hope. The journey back from the painting had been arduous, but for the first time in years, she didn't feel completely alone. This moment marked a turning point for Evelyn, as she found a connection amidst the challenges they had faced together.
I think I need help, Lila.
The words were barely a whisper. They signaled a big change for Evelyn. Lila gently squeezed her hand in support. An emotional smile formed on Evelyn's face, her eyes glistening with tears.
We're here for you, Evelyn. Whatever you need, you don't have to face this alone anymore.
The sun rose higher in the sky. It cast a warm glow through the hospital room window. Evelyn took another step towards connection. She knew her journey was far from over. However, she was no longer facing it alone. This small move marked a shift from isolation to companionship. Evelyn found herself sinking deeper into the damaged masterpiece. The brushstrokes around her blurred into a spinning whirlpool of color and memory. The painted world shifted, revealing fragments of her past. These fragments were layered over the artwork's imagery, creating a vivid fusion of personal history and artistic creation.
What is this? I've never seen anything like it before.
Evelyn's eyes adjusted to the scene before her. She saw brief glimpses of her childhood. These included foster homes and lonely nights. She remembered the walls she built to protect herself. The scene was a haunting collage of her life's key events. Each moment was etched with pain and uncertainty. This vision brought back memories of her past, revealing the challenges she had faced. The images flickered through her mind, each one a reminder of her journey. Despite the difficulty, these snapshots told the story of her resilience and growth.
No, I can't do this. I can't face all of this again.
Evelyn was about to retreat. Suddenly, she heard familiar voices. The voices echoed through the painted landscape. At first, they were faint, but they grew stronger as Evelyn focused on them. The colorful surroundings seemed to amplify the sounds, drawing her attention deeper into the scene.
Evelyn, you're stronger than you think. You've always had the power to heal what's broken.
Don't run away, Evie. You've got this. We believe in you.
Marcus? Lila? How are you here?
Evelyn realized these weren't really Marcus and Lila. They were echoes of their encouragement. These were expressions of support she had been reluctant to accept in real life. Their presence, even as mere reflections, affected Evelyn deeply. It gave her a small spark of courage to move forward.
Okay, I can do this. One step at a time.
Evelyn took a deep breath. She approached the first image from her memory. It showed a young version of herself. She was alone in a crowded foster home. In her hands, she clutched a tattered sketchbook. The scene captured a moment of solitude amidst chaos.
I remember this. I felt so invisible.
Evelyn touched the image, and it began to change. The colors brightened, revealing forgotten details. She saw a kind smile from another child. A teacher was praising her artwork. These memories from her past came to life before her eyes.
I wasn't alone. Not completely. How could I have forgotten that?
Evelyn moved through the painted landscape. She encountered more scenes from her past. With each one, she forced herself to look deeper. She tried to see beyond the pain. Evelyn sought moments of resilience and unexpected kindness. These were things she had overlooked before. In this journey through her memories, she discovered new perspectives on her life experiences.
You're beginning to see, Evelyn. The restoration isn't just about the painting.
The curator? I should have known you'd be here.
This journey is about restoring yourself. It's also about mending the artwork. Are you prepared to face the hardest truths? This process of renewal encompasses both personal growth and creative restoration. As you embark on this path, consider if you're ready to confront challenging realities that may arise.
I don't know. But I have to try, don't I?
The curator nodded and gestured. He pointed to a chaotic part of the painting. Evelyn approached the indicated spot. As she drew near, she felt a rush of fear. Vulnerability washed over her in that moment.
This is it, isn't it? The core of everything I've been running from.
An image appeared before her. It was a vision of herself with arms outstretched. Marcus and Lila surrounded her in this image. Other blurred figures were also present. These figures represented potential connections. She had pushed these connections away in the past.
What do you see, Evelyn?
I perceive myself. But I'm not alone. I'm reaching out to others. They're reaching back to me. This connection is beautiful, yet it's also terrifying. The experience of seeing myself and connecting with others brings a mix of wonder and fear, creating a profound and complex emotional response.
Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. She confronted the possibility of genuine connection. Evelyn considered allowing herself to be vulnerable. She wondered if she could be truly loved. This moment of emotional reflection brought both fear and hope to her heart.
I've spent a long time thinking I wasn't worth it. I believed that if I let anyone in, they would leave. But maybe I've been wrong all along.
As Evelyn spoke these words, the painting around her began to shift. The broken pieces of her past started to come together. They formed a more cohesive and vibrant whole. She could feel the artwork healing. With it, something deep inside Evelyn began to mend as well.
Remember this feeling, Evelyn. The journey isn't over, but you've taken the first crucial steps.
I think I'm ready to go back now. There's so much I need to do in the real world.
Evelyn took a deep breath and closed her eyes. She felt the painted world fade around her. As she prepared to return to reality, she knew challenges lay ahead. However, she was no longer facing these challenges alone. Inside the damaged masterpiece, chaos swirled around Evelyn. She stood face to face with her greatest fear. A shadowy figure appeared before her. It seemed to embody her deepest insecurities. These insecurities were about vulnerability and connection. The painted world around them flickered and trembled. This mirrored Evelyn's internal turmoil.
I can't do this. I can't let you in. It's too risky.
A shimmering figure appeared before Evelyn. It was a glowing combination of all the people she had pushed away over the years. The figure reached out a hand towards her. Its voice was a chorus of familiar tones. Marcus, Lila, and others who had tried to get close to her spoke as one.
But Evelyn, don't you see? You're already doing it. Every brushstroke in restoration is an act of vulnerability. It's also an act of trust.
That's different. Art can't hurt me. People can.
As Evelyn spoke, the world around them began to stabilize. Colors became more vivid and shapes more defined. The act of confrontation was slowly restoring the painting. This process of addressing the issue brought clarity and detail back to their surroundings.
And yet, here you are, pouring your heart into every canvas. You're opening yourself to the beauty and pain captured in each stroke. Is this so different from opening yourself to people? The act of creating art, with all its vulnerability and emotion, mirrors the way we connect with others. Both require courage, honesty, and a willingness to share our innermost selves.
I don't know how. I've spent so long keeping everyone at arm's length.
Tears filled Evelyn's eyes. As they fell, the droplets seemed to blend with the paint on the floor. The paint lay beneath her feet. This merging created new depth and richness in the colors.
You do know how, Evelyn. You've been learning all along. Think of Marcus and Leela. You've already started to let them in.
But what if I lose them? What if they leave, like everyone else?
That's the risk of love, of connection. But isn't the possibility of joy worth that risk?
Evelyn closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. When she opened her eyes again, her gaze was steady. Her expression was resolute.
Yes, it is.
With those words, Evelyn stepped forward. She embraced the figure before her. As they touched, a bright light surrounded them both. The painting surged with vibrant energy. Cracks began healing as colors blazed to life. Suddenly, Evelyn found herself blinking awake. She was in a hospital bed. The walls were sterile and white. They contrasted sharply with the vivid world she had just left behind.
Where am I?
Evelyn, thank goodness you're awake. We've been so worried.
Marcus's familiar voice was filled with emotion. Evelyn's vision slowly came into focus. She saw Marcus sitting by her bedside. Lila stood just behind him.
You gave us quite a scare, Evie. You've been unconscious for days.
For the first time, Evelyn truly looked at them. She saw them not just with her eyes, but with her heart. Sincere worry showed on their faces. She noticed the care in their eyes. Instead of her usual instinct to pull away, Evelyn felt different. A warmth spread through her chest. This new feeling surprised her, replacing her typical desire to distance herself.
I'm sorry I worried you, but I'm glad you're here. Both of you.
Marcus and Lila exchanged surprised glances. They noticed something different about Evelyn. Her tone had an uncharacteristic openness.
Of course we're here, kiddo. Where else would we be?
I have a lot to share with both of you. It's about the paintings and about myself. Are you willing to listen?
We're all ears, Evelyn. Always have been.
Evelyn began to share her incredible journey. As she did, she felt a weight lifting from her shoulders. The walls she had built for so long were finally coming down. It happened gradually, brush stroke by brush stroke, word by word. In their place, a masterpiece of connection was taking shape. The grand halls of the Metropolitan Museum of Art buzzed with anticipation. Months of careful restoration efforts had led to this moment. It was the unveiling of a previously damaged artwork. The masterpiece was now restored to its former glory. Among the crowd of art enthusiasts and critics stood Evelyn Thorne. She radiated a quiet confidence that was new, yet distinctly her own.
Well, this is certainly a step up from our usual crowd at the studio, isn't it, Marcus?
Evelyn, my dear, you've more than earned your place here. This restoration is truly remarkable. It's nothing short of miraculous.
Evelyn's lips quirked into a small smile. Her eyes scanned the room carefully. They finally landed on a familiar face.
Lila, I'm so glad you could make it.
Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss this for the world. You look different, Evelyn. Good different.
Evelyn's cheeks flushed slightly. She was unused to such open affection. Lila's gaze conveyed warmth and fondness.
Thanks. I feel different. Better, I think.
Miss Thorne, there you are. The director of the Louvre is eager to meet you. Your work has caused quite a stir in the art world.
The gallery owner quickly led Evelyn away from the crowd. As she left, Evelyn caught sight of Marcus's proud smile. Hours flew by in a flurry of introductions and praise. Finally, the crowd began to thin out. Evelyn found herself alone with Marcus in front of the restored painting.
You know, when I first met you, I never imagined this. We're standing here now, in a moment I couldn't have foreseen. Evelyn, you've come so far on your journey.
Marcus, I have something important to tell you. It's about how I restored this painting. And it relates to how I restore all paintings.
Evelyn took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking a little. She was preparing to share her secret. The moment felt tense as she gathered her courage.
What if I told you that I don't just restore paintings, I enter them?
Enter them? What do you mean?
I literally go inside the paintings. I become part of them and interact with the elements. I face challenges within these painted worlds. This is how I've been able to achieve the impossible.
Marcus listened intently. His expression showed a mix of emotions. Disbelief and wonder were clearly visible on his face.
Evelyn, that's incredible and a little terrifying. Why are you telling me this now?
I've realized something important, Marcus. All this time, I've been restoring paintings. But I've also been restoring myself. I couldn't have done it without you or Lila. It's all about connecting with others. I don't want to keep secrets anymore. I want to trust and be known.
Tears shone in Evelyn's eyes. For once, she didn't try to hide them. Marcus reached out to comfort her. He gently squeezed her shoulder. This simple gesture conveyed his support and understanding.
Oh, my dear, thank you for trusting me with this. You're not alone, Evelyn. Not anymore.
Evelyn and her companion stood in the gallery. Soft light bathed the room around them. Evelyn felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The masterpiece before them seemed to glow. It was a testament to beauty emerging from brokenness. This idea applied to both art and life. The painting revealed how beauty can come from broken things, resonating deeply with the viewers. Evelyn stood in the warm light of her new studio. She faced a blank canvas, paintbrush in hand. The space around her buzzed with nervous energy. This feeling was amplified by Marcus and Lila nearby.
I can't believe I'm actually doing this. What if it doesn't work?
Evelyn, you've come so far. Trust yourself and trust us. We're here with you every step of the way.
Marcus gave Evelyn a reassuring smile. Evelyn responded with a tentative nod. She took a deep breath to calm herself. Then, she dipped her brush into a swirl of vibrant colors.
Remember, this isn't just about restoring art anymore. It's about creating something new. This new creation represents your personal journey. The process has evolved from simple restoration to a form of self-expression through art.
Right. No pressure or anything.
Despite her sarcastic tone, a small smile tugged at Evelyn's lips. She began to paint with hesitant strokes. Her brushstrokes grew bolder as time passed. The canvas came to life with swirling hues and abstract forms. Marcus and Lila joined in, adding their own touches. Their brushes danced alongside Evelyn's in perfect rhythm.
It's beautiful. I can feel the energy pulsing through it.
Are you ready to step inside?
Evelyn nodded, her eyes fixed on the painting. She took a deep breath and reached out. Her hand touched the canvas gently. The world around her began to blur and fade. Evelyn felt herself being drawn into the artwork. Evelyn found herself standing in a vast, dreamlike landscape. The sky above her swirled with the same colors they had used in the painting. Meanwhile, the ground beneath her feet seemed to shift and change with each step.
This is different. I don't feel afraid. It's like possibility.
As she spoke, the landscape began to transform. Trees sprouted from the ground. Their leaves were a rainbow of colors. A winding path appeared before her. It invited her to explore the new scenery.
Marcus? Lila? Are you here?
As if answering her call, two familiar figures appeared. They materialized on the path ahead. Marcus and Lila stood there. They smiled warmly at Evelyn.
We're right here, Evelyn. We've always been here.
You just needed to be ready to see us.
Tears welled up in Evelyn's eyes. She realized the truth of their words. For the first time, she didn't feel the urge to run or hide. Instead, she took a step towards them. Then she took another step. This moment marked a significant change for Evelyn, as she chose to face what she had previously avoided.
I think I'm ready now. To let you in. To let myself feel connected.
Evelyn reached out to take their hands. The world around them pulsed with vibrant energy. The landscape seemed to celebrate this moment. Flowers bloomed all around them. Soft music filled the air. This magical scene unfolded as they connected, creating a vivid and joyous atmosphere.
Welcome home, Evelyn.
This is just the beginning.
Evelyn looked at her friends and the beautiful world they had created together. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of true belonging. As they walked down the path together, Evelyn had a realization. She knew that challenges lay ahead, but she would not face them alone. Instead, she would have the strength of connection and love by her side.